Q-17, as a person progresses through every stage of spiritual evolution, and at the stage of sense augmentation, when the senses are increasing, and at the beginning stages of sleep, and after waking stages of sleep, this is where windows to the other dimensions open. At the beginning of sleep, your brain will begin to shuttle all memories, events that have occurred throughout the day. This is something that people normally do during REM sleep. This is incorrect. Think about what happens when you die. What occurs is that during this transition between life and death and into the higher etheric dimensions, the person actually shuttles through all life memories and experiences as they are transferring them into their life bodies. Believe it or not, the person is conscious and aware of the entire experience. This is why for most people, as they are good, they will, and during their return from the near-death experience, remember, but oddly won't tell the secrets of heaven, for their destiny is to change to someone's destiny. As the final moments while the soul is being downloaded into the light body upon return from the near-death experience, the decision is made based on karma and the individual on which world so based on karma, it depends where the individual is going to end up. He's going to end up in the higher realms, the purgatory, or not purgatory, I explain later what purgatory is, or hell. And before you go to hell, you do go to prison, and in that way rehabilitate and then go to hell, serve your penance, and then you reincarnate and go through the whole process all over again. Returning to the processes between waking and sleeping states, it is therefore known in the spiritual realms that during this transition we are transferring current memories and spiritual occurrences during the waking state, or the daytime, during the daytime. During the daytime memories. Now here's where the weird and freaky things begin to happen. I know I'm sensing this near-death experience is not that good. So what happens is when people die, it's been reported that they leave their body. And what happens when they leave their body is that they can see their body, they can see the instruments, they can see people's name tags who have operated on them, and they'll even freak out the doctors by saying, "You were the one that was cutting my stomach open," or "I had a heart attack." And you're like, "How the hell did you know you have a heart attack? The chart's in front of your bed and you can't move." And you're like, "Well, I saw it." And then there's more than one of these. Like, this is not a phenomenon. This is fact. And they say that they're hovering above their body, and that in those cases you're near death, but you haven't experienced the actual crossing over. And so what happens when you cross over is that there's two stories that are played. Your karma is played for you. So, you know, if you have more negative, your negative plays. If you have more positive, your positive plays. If you haven't yet fulfilled your destiny, the one that you choose will play first. The one that's more important. So because some people, negative experiences are better for learning versus positive. So it all depends on how the individual spirit or the higher being, which is your own spiritual body, wants to teach you how to do these things. So because it's that moment that gives you that clarity of deliverance, born again moment, but not born again, because to be born again is a different meaning. But you can borrow the terminology. So they basically what it is that they that's what happens. So people report that they're screaming and that they don't want to come back to this place, and they end up selling their business, and they go to church and this and that. Other people are like, there's two ways, and on both ways it's like, oh, I gotta go back, and my life is good, I gotta go back because I have to change someone's destiny. And that's usually only if you are predominantly positive and you have yet to fulfill your life. Like maybe you have to continue to care for your child, which is going to do important things in this world, and they need a father, or they're going to be mentally unstable or not mentally profitable, so, and therefore beneficial and underdeveloped in their maturity. So it's really funny how just the right nudge here and there, or sometimes a complete left turn, can change a person's destiny and others' destinies and influence those around them as well. So I mean, this is what near-death experiences is way off the topic, but this is just explaining proof that there's actually a different reality when we go to sleep. So, and another thing is that there's two. Information goes into one brain, disappears, and comes back. So it must be proof for another reality. I got this from the University of Toronto when he was studying near-death experiences, and he's studying the brain and the scanner. And I don't know, not brain under the scanner, because you can't do that unless they're dying. But apparently he had some sort of observation, and it's validated that particles disappear and reappear all the time, and that when you send a particle through, it splits into two, and it's a phenomenon in quantum physics that can't be explained unless there's another reality that it disappears and reappears. So that validates the information about your spiritual part of the brain, because the information gets shuttled to your spiritual part. So it's hard to say, because time isn't really time, where your spiritual body goes throughout your entire day, and as long as you fulfill your destiny, you can do your day in your days like maybe 12, 16, 14 hours waking state. So those 14 hours, it shuttles through the entire day in like 4 or 5 hours, and then does the rest of the day during spiritual work, and then it sleeps too on the other side. So depends on what reality you're in, or what dimension. As the people in the 7th dimension don't sleep at all. So so here's where the freaky things start to happen. Weird and freaky things start to begin. So as the person begins to relax and their brain waves slow down, the person closes their eyes, and the transition begins. Your third eye opens, and the shield that forces it shut progressively weakens. As the shield dissipates, your consciousness begins to be able to see higher frequencies that are not visible but are perceivable to the untrained. Since this is a feeling, our imagination runs wild, because our brains are wired primitively to react to defend ourselves. So we see danger, and this does not produce danger, but we think it, and we are fooled into seeing danger. However, if we had a brain scanner and not a scanning device in a room, and the occurrences are from memories, and why that is because your brain, before it sleeps and during it sleeps, consolidates its memories, meaning that it stores it as it needs it, files it, essential, non-essential, relevant, keep it for a few days, or just discard it. And it does this while you're going to sleep, in the middle of consciousness and unconsciousness, meaning literally between this world and that world, and it does that immediately as you, but really and truly you're already asleep, but you don't think you're asleep. But why that is because your brain has dipped into another cycle, which what the monks do. They meditate and their brainwaves go slower into theta, and you can access the spiritual world that way. And so what happens is that it sees things because it's relaxed, and it can actually, as the shield goes down, you can actually see energy. So what has happened throughout the days, if you've seen spirits, and if you've seen ghosts or whatever, it sees that, and there's energy being emitted everywhere. Like if you were to use a gamma scanner or a radiation scanner or a thermal scanner, you could see heat on a tree, on animals, on everything. Well, all of us give off an individual aura, either red, blue, yellow, or green, and we emit this aura, so we see energy everywhere we go. So it shuttles through that, but we're used to this, so it just sees things that are not normal. And if you're doing bad things, well, I think I explain that later, but I'll get to that. I'll write that down. Rule of thumb, bad things equals bad karmas. So it consolidates these things, and if you're doing bad things, it'll remember those things. But I'm very sure I read about this later. Since this is so as the shield dissipates, we see things that we normally can't see, and to the untrained eye, it's kind of freaky, it's weird, and we're uncomfortable. And since this is a feeling, our imagination runs wild because our brains are wired primitively. We're not used to seeing energy, so we freak out. We see danger, and it does not produce danger, but we think it, and we are fooled into seeing danger. However, I mean, it's like the first time you're driving a car, and you haven't driven in a long time, and you're freaking out, or you're on a slope, and you're going really carefully, especially if it's steep. You know better not to go on a steep mountain, so then you're already paranoid. And you're not paranoid, but you're being too cautious, because you have to, because you haven't skied in a while, and all of a sudden you're going down the steepest hill, and let's say you have a sore ankle, and a whole bunch of things happen, and it all equates. It means danger, 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 caution, caution, stupid idiot, and lo and behold, danger happens. So we produce our realities. Our minds produce energy to produce that reality because we have to, because it's like a warning. It's like, instead of someone slapping your hand, it's like, oh, my hands are shaking all of a sudden, and then you're like not used to this. But you're used to it all the time because you're nervous when you do an interview, you're nervous when you go to do a speech or a play, and these things are warnings and anticipations and methods and strategies to help you cope in life. And the same things that you're experiencing are exactly what is happening every single day. We're producing this reality. We're producing the chemicals to produce the warnings and the preparation, so that's what happens in a nutshell. So if we were to use scanners every day, and we have to have specific scanners, but we'd be able to see ghosts all the time, and spirits and energy. And I mean, if you could actually see the magnetic sphere, it's beautiful. It vibrates, goes boom. We're just not used to hearing that ohm. That we're not tuned properly into the 8th ohm, and we can't hear it. And like, you ever wonder how animals can hear danger and see danger and feel danger? Well, all of it's related. So, anyways, then what? So all of this is proof that our world has a secret veil to conceal this dimension, this energetic dimension. But it's not really concealing it, because if you learn it, you'll see that you could actually see this dimension. You could actually participate in it. You can travel in it. You can manipulate it. And it's just we don't see it. And it's called a veil secretly.